Somehow Sweden beat or tied the Soviets. Well, both events occurred, with the Swedes scoring 3 late goals in a 5-5 tie, the final goal coming with 1 second left on the clock. The Soviets launched an official protest, claiming they had videotapes to prove the Swedish goal was scored after the buzzer. But before a concerned Team Canada could make the 2-hour bus trip from Turku, where they played, to Helsinki, the Soviets had withdrawn their protest, and Team Canada was awarded the gold medal. Here, as you can see on the ice in Finland, the game was scoreless until the latter stages of the first period. Puck comes back to the side of the net of Steven Fiset, who was outstanding, and Robert Reichel scores for Czechoslovakia. And it's 1-0. Late in the second period, the Canadians will tie it up. Wes Waltz carries the puck across the line, slips the pass to Mike Craig. He buries it. Game's all tied up at 1-1. And before the period ends, Canada takes the lead. Dave Tchaikovsky tries to pass, hits a skate, goes right to Dwayne Norris. He beats the Czech netminder. Canada a 2-1 lead. They nurse that through the third. Then late in the game, they find out at their bench that the Swedes have tied the Soviets. They hold on for the 2-1 win and win the gold medal. Love to hear our anthem played like that, don't you? Now to the NHL. The Winnipeg Jets are in Boston tonight, just starting their game with the Bruins. It's on 58 CKY Radio. Full highlights tonight on Late News Hour. Jets are now 9 points up on Vancouver and only 4 behind Los Angeles, with 2 games in hand on both teams after beating Hartford last night. Gordie Howe, the hockey legend, on hand for this one because the Whalers will celebrate their 5 millionth fan. Jets spoiled the party. First period, Dave McElwain, his 11th shorthanded goal of the season, past Peter Sidorkiewicz. It's 1-0 Jets. And 3 minutes later, Teppo Noonan on the pass from Greg Paslowski, who's in for the 3rd goal of the season. Jets had a 2-0 lead after 2. Early in the 3rd, Jets increased it to 3. Thomas Steen and Mo Mantha assisting on the goal by Brent Ashton. And that will put the Jets in command. But the shutout for Bob Essence, the Jet defenseman, deflects past the netminder. And that seems to inspire the Whalers. 39 seconds later, the shot from the blue line is whacked in by Pat Verbeek, his 20th. The Jets were now scrambling in the late going. But in the final minute, Bill Sykes will get the empty netter as the Jets go on to win it by a score of 4-2. Now to the NHL. Only 1 goal and 1 favored the Winnipeg Jets. We start off Madison Square Garden. Bad night for Winnipegger Bobby Joyce. He's hammered into the board, suffers a serious knee injury. He's carried off. This one will be for Bobby. Caps get on the board. Dino Ciccarelli gives them a 1-0 lead in the second, beating John Van Beesbrook. Ziegler, folks, yes, is alive. Rangers will 24th of the season to the legs of Don Beaupre, and it's a 1-1 tie. Rangers get the winner, Jan Eriksson to Jeff Bloomberg. Only his 2nd goal of the season. Big one, though, for Washington. Nordique's lead at 2-1. That ties it at 2-2. That's his 25th goal, leads the Leafs. Then it's Daniel Marois. Scores on the one-timer. Leafs lead at 3-2. Next goal, though, is historic. Guy Lafleur moves past Rocket Richard in the all-time scoring list with his 545th goal. 9 seconds left. Looks like it's going to overtime. Wrong. Mark Osborne beats Millen. The Leafs scramble for a 5-4 win over the Quebec Nordique. Now we go to Chicago. Oilers score first. Craig Simpson redirecting the Yari Curry feed. 1-1 tie with Chicago. The Hawks will come back. The Oilers fail to clear the zone. Jeremy Rennick stopped by Bill Ranford. And then Rennick will put in his own rebound. Early in the 3rd, Hawks lead. 36 seconds later, though, the Oilers come back. Charlie Huddy across to Steve Smith, and the big defenseman will blast one to tie it all up at 2-2. And now, folks, if you the next 10 seconds, because this is violence, folks. Dave Brown lays one on poor old Cam Russell, who's taken a pound. Still doesn't know where. Will fail to clear the puck. And Steve Thomas will intercept at the other side. He will walk in front of the net, jam it past Ranford. The Hawks win at 3-2. They now have 49 points, 3rd overall in the NHL. Well, Wayne Gretzky once said that the Toronto Maple Leafs were only 1 heart attack away from a Stanley Cup contender. The man to whom Gretzky was alluding is, of course, Harold Ballard. Yesterday, he was rushed to hospital in the Cayman Islands, again with heart trouble, apparently canceling last-minute wedding plans.
Harold Harold Ballard's longtime companion Yolanda applied for a marriage license in the Cayman Islands yesterday morning. Justice of the Peace Vernon Jackson says he was asked to... However, Ballard backed out at the last minute.
Oh, yesterday morning I just went in and spoke to him and, we greeted him. He passed a few words and I said, "Are you ready for the wedding?" I was thinking more of his health because I wanted to know exactly. So he said no, he wasn't ready. And I said, "Well, when you're ready, let me know."
Jackson went on to say he was sitting in a chair and he was lucid and lively. He just said he wasn't ready, and that was the end of it. A couple of hours later, Ballard checked himself into hospital. Today, Leaf spokesman Bob Stellick says Ballard is in stable condition.
Well, Mr. Ballard suffers from fluid buildup around his heart because of the diabetes and his heart condition, obviously. He's in serious but stable condition in the intensive care unit.
Meanwhile, news of Ballard's illness has caused share prices in Maple Leaf Gardens to jump by $2.50 to $44.75. Ballard had been scheduled to return home this weekend. However, Leaf spokesman Bob Stellick says he won't be. Companion Yolanda have been in the Caymans since December 23rd on holiday.
Just got the wedding yips. Not much lost one they could have won last night in Boston. Typical road game tactics and strong goaltending from Daniel Berthume had them in the game until the final 2 minutes when Ray Bourque broke it to first. Dale Howarchuk behind the back pass to Doug Smale. Smale goes in and shoots the screenshot past Reggie Lemelin. It is 1-0 for the Jets. The Jets will then get a great scoring opportunity, but Mark Kumpel, who's been playing super lately, is robbed by Lemelin with the big glove save. Bruins get rolling in the second with a couple of goals. John Carter forces a Sean Cronin turnover. Bobby Gould with the puck fires it over the Bandit, and it's 1-1. The Bruins will then go up 2-1. Greg Hoggood will pass with the final one, taps it in. That does not sit well with Cronin when Neely does the post-goal celebrations. Third period action, the game is tied at 2-2 after a Freddie Olesen goal, and Ray Bourque with the game winner on the shot from the top of the circle. Bob Sweeney added an empty netter. The Bruins double up the Jets by a score of 4-3. The Jets remain 9 points up on Vancouver and 4 behind Los Angeles because both the Canucks and the Kings lost their games last night as well. Kings open up things in the first inning, though. Wayne Gretzky feeds Mike Krushelnyski in front of the goal. He beats Sean Burke. It's 1-0 L.A. The Devils will come right back, though. David Maley drops it to Brendan Shanahan, who sends the return pass back to Maley. He captures it and pops it in. It's a 1-1 tie. Maley was a big man in the night, scoring a couple of goals, also scoring with some big punches. He and Kings tough guy Marty McSorley exchange a few dandies in this one. It ends in a split decision and some bruised knuckles on both sides. Maley then gets his second of the night, also proves to be the winner 3-2 at this point. The Devils go on to win it by a score of 4-2. On to the Canucks and the Penguins at the Igloo, where the Jets go next. A scary moment. Greg Adams nailed from behind here by Bob Airey. It will crush his cheekbone into the side of the net, carried off on a stretcher. He is to undergo surgery tomorrow. Penguins go up 1-0 on a pretty pay. Sadly, the Zalapski in front from Mario Lemieux. No chance for Steve Weeks. The Canucks will get it back, though, and more. They go up 2-1 when Doug Smith sets up Tony Tanti for the one-timer. Pick it up in the third. Now the teams are tied at 3. Just 2 minutes to go. Paul Coffey unloads the big shot. On to the Met Center is 2-1 North Stars. Leading the Rangers. Minnie goes up 3-1. Dave Gagne to Don Barber in front. And he will score on the deflection right here. Go early third period now. It's 4-1, and Dave Gagne, Mike Modano, the top rookie, will play give and go. It'll finally be Gagne converting it. 8-2 the final for the North Stars over the Rangers. To the Blues and Flyers, third period action. Blues leading 4-3. Flyers tied up. Rick Tocchet behind the net to Brian Propp on the doorstep with the jam. And we're off to overtime. Extra frame, Paul McLean to Gino Cavallini with the drive by Ken Reggett. Blues come out on top 5-4. And finally to the Joe Louis Arena, Nords in Detroit. Wings up 2-1. Sean Burr fights off Guy Lafleur and snaps it past Ron Tugnett. Some vintage Stevie Eiserman on the next play on the power play. Set things up to Jimmy Carson on the 180 spinner. Wings pump the Nords 4-1. Quebec only 7 wins this entire season. Couple of trades in the NHL today, too. New Jersey Devils traded their second all-time leading scorer, Aaron Broughton, to the Minnesota North Stars, where he will be reunited with his older brother, Neil. In exchange, the Devils get center Bob Brook, also 29 years of age and a 6-year veteran. The other trade saw the Montreal Canadiens ship forward. The Blues offered Paul Cavallini back, but they turned it down. The Nat cringes when he watches those kind of stories. And finally,